Hey everybody, it's Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada, and I am up at my parents' place, and it's been a rough week. My father's back in the hospital. It's the same thing that put him there last month, and he's been there for 5 days, and we spent most of our last week or so with him. And over the 5 days, something occurred to me that I hadn't really thought about when it comes to the day one idea. And I've always pitched the day one idea as a way of maintaining momentum, of moving forward, right? So whatever you want to do, whatever you're hoping to accomplish, if you treat every day like it's the first day on that voyage, you're going to do something every day that brings you closer. And the last 5 days have also brought into relief for me the fact that it can be a really good way of dealing with screw ups along that voyage. And I never really thought of it as being powerful in that way. And what brought it back was, as many of you might know, I used to be very big. I used to be over 300 pounds. And one of the things that kept me big was the fact that food was the biggest source of pleasure in my life. Back when I was that big, there weren't a whole lot of things that gave me pleasure, and food was one of them. And I always used to, and really right up until I started thinking about it for this video, I used to equate pleasure with happiness. And I've started to realize pleasure and happiness are not the same thing, because all of my pleasure back then was unhealthy pleasure. Before I ate, I was not happy. I could not stand myself. I could not stand how I felt. And after I ate whatever giant pile of crap that I ate, I could not stand myself at all. I was definitely not happy. But in that moment when I was eating, I felt so much pleasure. And I think part of the reason that I've been able to live a healthier life is that I've started to add healthy pleasures to my life. Things like a job that makes me feel like I matter. Things like making sure I work out regularly, and on the days I don't work out with a trainer, going for long walks. Making sure I spend time with people who make me feel as if I can be, or if I actually am a good person. And I started adding healthy pleasures to my life. And I didn't realize how few of those had been a part of my life back then. Food was basically it. But over the last 5 days, I've started to replace a lot of the healthy pleasure in my life with unhealthy pleasure. And I know that my mindset has changed because I'm hyper aware of it, enough to make this video. Like, I know that I've had 12 burgers from fast food joints in the last 5 days. I know that I've had 4 large pizzas. I know that I've had over 200 Timbits, and for American viewers, I think they call them donut holes down there. I know I've had a dozen butter tarts in 5 days. So I'm aware of it. And every single day I've tried to deal with it by saying, you know what? Today is day one, and I'm going to be healthy today. And every day for the last 5 days, I've failed on that. And I've started to realize something, though. I'm more okay with that than I think I would have been before I started looking at things as this is day one. Because on day one, there's no shame in screwing things up. Like, if you're an expert at something and you mess it up, I think that's really hard on you. But there's something about realizing that it's your first day of doing anything that gives you a little bit of built-in forgiveness when you're not great at it. And so because I look at every day in my voyage to health as the first day, I've been a little bit more forgiving this week. And I try not to give myself too much credit for the 3 years that I've been successful, but that also means I don't have to give myself too much crap for the 5 days where I haven't been. And so this idea of this is day one, not only is it a way of making sure that wherever you want to go, you do it, you use something to move you towards it. It's also a way to give yourself a break when you string together a bit of time when you're not living up to it. Because you know that every time the sun comes up the next day, you can simply look at it as if, you know what? Yesterday was my first day trying, and now I'll start over again. So it's been a rough week. It's been 5 days of going back to pleasure from unhealthy places. But what I have discovered, and I never thought about it, is that looking at every day as if it's day one gives you permission to forgive yourself when you're not as good as you know you can be. Because it keeps you from giving yourself too much credit for all the success you had, and it stops you from beating yourself too much when you didn't live up to the person you wanted to be. So thanks for watching. This is the Day One Leadership Blog, and I'll talk to you all next week.